Money, 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 money. Money. Congratulations to Kyler Murray for securing a heavy bag. He just got a 5-year extension for $230 million with $160 million guaranteed, which I believe they put him at about $46.1 million a year. Which again, I'm happy for him. A lot of people that are arguing on if he does or doesn't deserve it. I think he's a talented quarterback. Obviously, I think he's a franchise quarterback, and I think the Cardinals have enough sense to recognize they have a franchise quarterback. But even though he's a dual threat quarterback, they put him in the best position to win. They went out and got him the best receiver in the NFL in DeAndre Hopkins. PEDs or not, he's the best. He's arguably the best receiver in the NFL. If not one, definitely number two. It's an argument between him and Devontae Adams. They went out. They drafted Rondale Moore. Like he might become something in the future. They traded us for Hollywood. They went out, traded for Zach Ertz. I forgot the name of the running back they had, but he seemed like he was okay. They got a better O-line than us, at least for now. It's yet to be seen. Hopefully we step up this year. It's interesting to see how the Cardinals are handling Kyler, despite the fact that, in my opinion, I do agree that the way Kyler handles a lot of this stuff is a bit immature. But look, the team clearly are fully in on him. Like that, cause I'm, a couple months ago when he was, deleting all the Cardinals pictures on his profile, then it came out through his agent that he wanted 50 to 55 million. Like, I wasn't sure, like, why was he going through all this just to secure a deal now when he could just, ball out and wait till the end of the season. But hey, man, at the end of the day, it still worked, so it doesn't matter. But when it relates to Lamar Jackson, I think it makes the Ravens look bad because you have a quarterback who clearly, with all due respect to Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray is very talented, but you have and for the Ravens, it's like you got a quarterback who is clearly better. Like I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, Lamar Jackson has done so much more with less than all of these younger quarterbacks. He has arguably, out of all the playoff teams, he has probably the worst offensive coordinator, or if not the worst, probably one of the 3 worst offensive coordinators out of any playoff caliber team, or what would be a playoff caliber team. Because if he didn't get injured, I believe he would have took us to the playoffs. You have a sub, or in previous seasons, hopefully this season, there's a turnaround, but in previous seasons, you've had one of the weakest wide receiver corps in the NFL. I would argue we have probably, in previous seasons, I would argue we have like the 3rd worst receiving corps. Even now, we still might end up having that. Hopefully they prove me wrong. Like, even though I'm not a big believer in Duvernay and Prochet, I want them to prove me wrong. I have nothing to gain if they don't do well. I want them to prove me wrong. I want Tylan Wallace to ball out. I want Rashad Bateman to have a breakout season. I did a video where I said that I think a 1,500-yard, 15 touchdown season from Rashad Bateman, if he lives up to his potential, I think it's more than possible. He got, in my opinion, this upcoming season, he's gonna have all the opportunity. So, hopefully that works out. But again, Lamar's done so much more than people like Kyler with less. Like, Kyler has been in the league a year less than Lamar and has also missed, a decent amount of time with injuries. And Kyler already has lost more games than Lamar. People get on Lamar for only winning 1 playoff game. Kyler hasn't won one yet. Now, I think he will. I think he will eventually. But as of right now, he hasn't yet. Like Lamar has literally set the league on fire. And unanimous MVP. Broken more records than I can count. He has the franchise's passing game record with the game he had against the Colts. He has the franchise record for most touchdowns in passing touchdowns in a season. He it just a ridiculous amount of records. He broke Dan Marino's record for most wins by a quarterback before the age of 25. He broke like a 30-year record. Again, this is just me going off at the top of my head. We all know the ridiculous amount of accomplishments and records that Lamar has broken in this short period of time. So the Ravens are they're shooting themselves in the foot. The longer you wait, the more you're gonna have to pay Lamar. I'm not the only one who's pointed this out, obviously. Lunch break hot take Engraven, like a bunch of people have in the Ravens flock have pointed this out. And it still remains true. At the end of the day, you keep waiting. Listen, it's like everybody's been saying. Just a year ago, Dak Prescott's deal looked massive. Now it looks average. 2 years ago, Pat Mahomes' 10-year, $450 million deal, it looked massive. Now it looks like nothing. It looks like they got a steal. So if you're the Ravens, you keep waiting around. Listen, don't let Joe Burrow sign an extension this year. Listen, because they're gonna keep dragging their feet. Allegedly, Lamar wants a fully guaranteed contract, and I don't blame him. If I was him, I'd want that too. Because even when I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, I'm like, again, Deshaun Watson is a beast. But again, when you stack up Lamar's career next to Deshaun Watson, Lamar's career is miles beyond Deshaun Watson's career. Even when we ignore all the allegations and court stuff with Deshaun, just looking at his career, Deshaun's career ain't touching Lamar's. What? No. Listen, you got this dude over here in the conference getting almost $250 million, $250 million guaranteed. Meanwhile, and then you got Kyler in Arizona getting essentially $46.1 million a year. You got Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay getting $50 million a year. Things are going up. If I'm Lamar, not only do I want $50 million a year, of course I want it guaranteed. Why would I not want it guaranteed? Again, I've done more with less than any other quarterback who's consistently in the playoffs. But yet, they're still treating him as if they don't really believe in him. And that's sad to see, because they still haven't fired Greg Roman yet. And there's no reason to keep Greg Roman. Greg Roman has a 10-year track record of being mediocre. Again, that doesn't mean he's the worst coordinator ever, but it just means he's one of the least creative. It doesn't mean you can't have success with his scheme, but again, it's just gonna be that much harder of a road. Road for players to get to a Super Bowl when a scheme like his is holding you back. People praise Kyle Shanahan and the Sean McVays of the world for being geniuses, so much so to where people downplay Jimmy G. Most people don't think Jimmy G's that good of a quarterback. And it's hard to argue against him, even though Jimmy G's also had a very impressive career, low key. He's been to a couple conference championships, he won a Super Bowl. He has I think his record as a starter is 35 and 16 or something. But people recognize how great of a system he's in, that he just, as far as how he can adapt, how it works for him and how it works for the teams that they play. Now some people will say, oh, this system works for Lamar. Not really. In my opinion, I think the system holds him back. People compare it to Louisville, but Louisville's scheme was more creative. He wasn't playing in something like this. I'm not an expert on schemes, but for the people I know who have a better understanding of that, they're telling me that, hey, at Louisville, that was more of a spread type of offense. It might have had similarities, but it was something that was more creative than Greg Roman. But to me, them keeping Greg Roman, them dragging their feet on signing him, to me, them not going out of their way to get like a premier receiver to complement Rashad Bateman and the rest of the receivers there to make it that much more overpowered. To me, like those little things gives me the impression that they don't really believe in him like that, which is why I'm glad he hasn't signed yet. Because if you're gonna try to make it harder for me to get to that Super Bowl, I'm not gonna make it easy for you when it's time to cut me a check. No, you gotta give me all the money. I want all the money. I used to watch a show when I was a kid called My Wife and Kids with Katie and that little light skinned boy. I don't remember his name. They used to say, look at all these monies. Listen, I want all these monies. That would be my mentality if I'm Lamar. Like, there's no need to call me and negotiate. There's nothing you can tell me to lower my value when everybody getting paid these crazy prices, or what we consider now crazy prices, even though in the future they might not be. But I have a better career than all these guys already, and I keep the most. I have the highest level of maturity out of all these guys. Because when Kyler took down all those Cardinals posts, that was a sign of immaturity. If these allegations against Deshaun Watson are true, guess what? It shows that he lacks maturity. He doesn't control. He can't control his lust. He makes bad decisions. You know, you look at all these other guys. I'm like, and if I'm Lamar, I'm like, listen, I'm a better decision maker than all these guys. I'm a better winner than all these guys. I keep a low profile compared to these guys. The only time people really see me outside like that is when I'm having my fun day with the kids down in Florida. Like, so it's very interesting to see how things are gonna play out. But since the Ravens look like they're not interested in giving him this type of money right now, things could change obviously at any moment. But since it seems like they might be dragging their feet, if I'm Lamar, I definitely would play the season out, because no matter which way you slice it, they're probably gonna have to pay Lamar about just under, I think, $49 to $50 million a year. Like, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. There is no quarterback on a playoff caliber team who is asked to do more to help to drag the team to win than Lamar. So there's really nothing. If I'm Lamar, I don't care if I don't have an agent. There's nothing you could tell me when it comes to like critiquing me that's gonna change the fact that you can't replace me. You can't replace me. Before I came in the picture, y'all missed the playoff. We missed the playoffs 4 years in a row with Joe Flacco. We was about to miss it a 5th season in a row before Joe got injured and they threw in Lamar, and Lamar came in and dragged us to a comp to when we won the division that year. Like, there's nothing you could tell me. There's nothing you could tell me. There was Ravens fans who, after that Packers Ravens games, which we lost, there was Ravens fans saying, "Oh man, we could trade Lamar to Miami and just build around Tyler." Tyler Huntley, when you look at his season wasn't good. His record was like, he was like 1-5. He threw 3 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions. He had 4 lost fumbles. And y'all is saying this is the guy that's gonna replace me just because we have a similar build and people can't tell the difference between us when we got our helmets on because we got like the same tattoos or whatever. Man, I'm rambling, man. But at the end of the day, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know, do you guys think Kyler deserved the money? I think he did, but some people think he didn't. Do you guys think he deserved it? And how much do you think Lamar deserves? And also, how much do you think he'll get? And also, do you think he'll get it this season, before the season starts, or will he play this year out? I'm asking a bunch of questions. I'm in a talkative mood. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.